SNL is conspiring with Russia.
Did you hear that?
And the Democrats.
Yeah. All right, welcome to the Back to the Sequel podcast. It's a sequel where we talk about movies, but the only criteria for the movies is that they have to be the number 2 in the series.
It's good.
Pretty good, right?
Pretty good fresh.
I feel like there are easier ways to make money, like manipulating the common folk.
Like you and I. And our viewers.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
So this week we watched Back to the Future Part 2.
Okay, so we're starting. Okay.
I want to go around the table, and everybody needs to tell me whether or not they've seen the first one and what they thought. Hold on. I'm your host, Jake, and to my left
Is Luke, and I have seen the first one, but it was a long time ago, so a little fuzzy on the details, but I remember certain parts.
And what'd you think of this new one?
It started off pretty
Hey,
bad.
Talk towards the mic.
It started off pretty bad, but it improved as it went along. It's one of those, one of those good films where you have to set your expectations low and then build up, just like the Spider-Verse movie.
I knew it was going to find its way in here.
I get. Do you think Back to the Future Part 2 is like the Spider-Verse?
No.
Anyway, sitting across from me is
Ryan, and I have not seen the first one, and I did think it started off a little weird, but only because it was like an old movie.
you also didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, there's a few things I had to ask for clarification, but it was cool. I liked the little cliffhanger ending they had. Wasn't too interested in the trailer for the third one, but
Well, I don't think that was the official trailer. I think that was just like the.
I just don't like Wild West stuff.
That
So
was
that's
like,
just me.
That was like the hey, we're done with the movie. It'll be out in 2 months.
You probably won't like the third one then.
Yeah, I don't like
'Cause
Wild
it's-
West.
It's pretty much all Wild West.
Yeah, that's not for me.
And to my right
Entirely.
is
Wild
Wesley.
West.
Wild Wesley. Period.
oh yes, the man.
Seen all three.
Oh wow, thank you.
They are great pieces of cinema.
What's your favorite one?
I don't know. I haven't seen the first one in a long time, so I only remember the second and third one. Right now, I'd probably say the second one. It's probably
Third
the
one
best.
is a lot of Wild West.
Yeah, it's a little too much.
I totally forgot the movie started off right after the first one.
So it's like a direct continuation.
Literally, the first one ends with Marty returns to the future and he runs to his garage, and then that's when the second one starts.
That's crazy.
And the third one starts right after the second one.
Right.
I like how whenever like something happens, like another thing happens like right afterwards. Like at the end of the movie when
Which
he sends the one we just watched. He sends Marty back in time, and then like literally 2 seconds later, Marty comes running down the street.
Oh yeah.
Like
yeah.
I think that's pretty cool.
It was very well cut.
Yeah.
There were moments like when the future people were interacting with their past selves, and they had the same character on the screen twice. They did that pretty well.
How'd they do that with that day and age technology?
So there was the scene where Doc was talking to himself. Remember, and he was handing the 3/4 screw wrench instead of the 6/8 or whatever.
Yeah,
Five
it's like,
years.
you mean this?
That makes sense.
3/6
There was like
fraction.
well, he asked for the 6/8, but he was like, "Don't you mean the 3/4? You fucking idiot."
Oh. I'm
So
dumb.
there was the pole in the middle. And then he handed him the wrench from behind the pole, and so I'm guessing the hand that actually handed it to him was a different actor, and then he just pretended to hand it to him, and then they just had
They clicked them together.
and then they had 2 movies side by side.
Interesting. Movie magic. That's crazy.
Steven Spielberg was ahead of.
Yeah.
Clearly, did you see the CGI? That was just next level.
I mean, for 1980s.
Yeah, I was a genuine compliment at the
Seven
time.
remember when this movie came out.
It was bad, but it was like
That's only because
it wasn't too bad. Like it didn't take you out of it. At least it didn't take me out of it.
Compared to Star Wars: A New Hope, though.
Well, compared to
Oh
well,
yeah.
New Hope was like 10 years before this movie.
Right.
But that's because none of the CGI was in the same spot as the humans.
Also, how did the budgets compare? I feel like not a lot or not as much effort was put into this one as
You don't think more? You think
Star
more
Wars.
effort was put into the first Star Wars?
yeah, because it was George Lucas's like It was his like baby. Like
Well, didn't the first Star Wars not have like a huge budget?
Yeah, wasn't it super
Oh,
cheap? So the first Star Wars was
It's very creative.
was 11 million.
that's okay. Back to the Future 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I don't know how much Steven Spielberg cared about this. He's probably working on Jurassic Park.
I mean, it was probably just like just a movie to pay the bills for a while.
Back to the Future 2 was 40 million.
Oh, okay. So
Better.
completely
Yeah,
false.
4 times the budget of Back to the Future 2.
Okay, never mind. CGI's trash.
I think that the reason you didn't think the CGI was bad in episode 4 was because there was never a moment where you saw humans next to CGI things. But in this movie, they put the humans next to like the cars and all the
Yeah.
shit was flying.
Oh,
Like in The New Hope, that never happened, right? Like the only CGI they had was the lightsabers,
yeah.
but they probably had some.
Another thing, like, did you ever see the remastered A New Hope? Where there's
Yes.
like, they do put CGI in it.
like
It
the-
looks
yeah.
awful.
Yeah, they have the stormtroopers riding those giant lizards in the
Yeah.
desert, and it's like
It's just so out of place.
obviously new graphics. Yeah.
I love how it took us 5 minutes to get to Star Wars.
Well, Star Wars is a superior franchise.
Well, that's
True,
probably
true.
Episode 2 is far better than Back to the Future Part 2.
They really like to reuse actors in this movie. Well, I guess that's only 2, but like Biff's grandson was the
Well, it's
same.
because they wanted them all look the same. Like the mom is the same in all
timeline or
Yeah.
all time
Yeah.
periods.
How strong are those genetics? Though? Like,
Like wow.
Marty looks exactly like his son.
like 3 generations, or actually only 2.
Yeah, Marty and his son.
Yeah.
Do actors get paid more if they play 2 different characters
so, yeah.
in the same movie?
Doing twice as much work.
Tyler Perry must make a shit ton of money.
He makes like 4
Yeah.
characters in one movie.
Or
Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy was the other one, yeah. Or who's the guy from Austin Powers?
Michael Myers? Not Michael Myers. Well, I guess his name is Michael. Okay.
It's Michael Myers.
It's Michael Myers, though. Isn't that what they call him?
Oh.
But I'm
Michael
sure,
Myers
I'm sure his name
is-
is Michael, though.
Also,
Michael Myers is the
Halloween.
serial killer.
I got a suggestion for another movie we could watch. Big Mama's House 2.
I'm down. I'm down.
Aren't there like 2?
Big
I don't know. I've
houses.
never seen it. I don't really know what it's about.
No, aren't there 2 Tyler Perry like series?
Of what?
There's Big Mama's House, but isn't there?
That's not Tyler Perry.
Yeah.
Who's that?
I don't think so. Medea
Ty-
is Tyler Perry.
Oh.
It's similar.
Okay, yeah.
They are similar. There's
There are-
2
but there are-
black men
There
talking
are,
about
there are
the.
multiple Medeas.
There are multiple Medea movies. Yeah.
Okay, so isn't there another Tyler Perry series? Other than-
Oh, besides like the Medeas.
Yes.
He has other movies that aren't. Like he just put out like Nobody's Fool or something. That was him.
Okay.
But they're all very obviously Tyler Perry movies.
Okay. What was the Eddie Murphy movie where he played a bunch of characters?
Norbit.
He was a big fat guy too, right?
No, it was a big. He played like a normal guy that looked like Eddie Murphy, and then he played a really fat chick.
But he was.
That was
Eddie
his.
Murphy.
That was his wife.
Of course, he looked like Eddie Murphy.
Wait, did you say
And then he played like an Asian grandfather. Who was like a mentor.
How racist was that?
Oh, it must have been awful. Well,
Well, he's black,
it's
so
also it's a different time. It's a different time.
Wait,
Did
Big
he-
Mama was not Eddie Murphy. I just realized.
Did he do that for the Nutty Professor too?
The Nutty Professor is
Yeah.
what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Yes, he played the big fat professor.
Yeah,
Yes.
Just to clarify, Martin Lawrence is Big Mama, not Eddie
I
Murphy.
see.
So Back to the Future 2 is a great movie.
Right.
That hoverboard scene when you went
That
over
was
the
cool.
water.
I
I
was,
don't know why
on the water.
hoverboards don't work over water.
Well,
I
because
mean, you just
obviously
can't get any
there's no like.
any thrust.
But Biff's hoverboard
Well,
worked.
he had a rocket
power.
power. Yeah, he had like a rocket
The
power.
other people were towing behind him.
But when Marty pedaled with his foot or like pushed with his
It should have
feet,
pushed him a little.
it was hovering. Like
Yeah,
when he first
yeah,
when he
yeah.
was on land, he was still hovering though. But he was able to like push with his foot.
was that just bad CGI and like it didn't show his foot like hitting the ground?
Oh, like
There was no friction
like
on the
a
water,
force
so he
push.
can't like.
Yeah, it was like a force push.
Okay.
Also, since we don't have
But force pushes don't work on water.
since we
There's no
don't
friction.
since we don't have hoverboards, we don't know how they work,
Okay.
right?
true.
So like,
We
who knows that pushing over the ground isn't different than pushing over water?
it's true. It's a different universe.
Yeah.
Right, right,
Who will be a judge?
Can't assume the
'Cause,
laws of
yeah.
nature.
right.
One problem I had with it is, you know how your past self sees you, they like pass out or the universe explodes or something.
Didn't that only happen for
The
Jennifer?
Yeah, it didn't happen for Biff.
Right.
Like, you know, just nothing happened.
Well, so I think, so Doc didn't know if the universe was going to explode. So he just said that to Marty. He was like, there are two scenarios. She'll either see her pass off and freak out and pass out from shock, or the universe will explode. But that's the worst case scenario. So Doc was just giving the other
I
scenario.
mean, isn't that the worst case scenario out of anything?
like
the
tying your
universe,
shoe,
could explode.
Isn't also like nothing happening possible? Like passing out was not like
Yeah.
you don't have to pass out.
Yeah,
You
that
should,
was
like-
just something that happened for Jennifer or Jessica. Or whatever it was.
I also don't think Biff like necessarily recognized himself. He wasn't like, oh, that's me.
Yeah, he's pretty dumb.
He was like, oh, it's an old dude. That totally can't be me because I'm young.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a fair assumption, I would say.
Called him Butthead.
Yeah.
Did you say something that they inspired Beavis and Butthead or something? Or
No.
okay, I heard Butthead.
Yeah, but that's a really mean insult.
Yeah,
especially-
should not be used.
Especially in the 80s.
None of us recommend that.
To all our young listeners out there.
Yeah, that's a lot of bullying going on.
Yeah. A lot of the problems could have just been solved if Marty wasn't such an idiot.
Marty gets so easily distracted.
How did he
Yeah.
not see or hear Biff take the DeLorean?
Well,
Yeah.
he was
He was sitting in the street for like 20 minutes.
yeah.
He was just in the street, just like
What?
It was, I think he was supposed to be the lookout too. It's like, he didn't notice the fucking DeLorean take off.
and it crashed into like
Yeah.
multiple things.
Yeah, why didn't you just wait by the DeLorean? Like, why does he have to
Well, he had to
wait
go
in
in the street.
Yeah, I mean, you have to stand in the middle of the
You
street.
just have
No.
Just in case. It could be like
To be a
happening to both
lookout.
things.
Yeah. What? So that was when Doc was going to get Jennifer from the house. That's right.
Right.
But Doc is also pretty dumb.
Because
like,
they left fucking Jennifer in the fucking alley.
Why'd they bring her in the first place? They should have brought her in the first
Yeah,
place.
exactly.
But he said like she was like important for the
And then
trip.
she didn't do anything except
She was a liability.
Yeah,
really.
she was the reason this whole story went south.
I feel like they started making this movie before they made the beginning. And they're like, oh, how do we get to this spot?
They probably made the future scenes first because that was like the most CGI intensive one.
Not last. What do you mean? Why would they make it first?
Because it
Need
takes
more
like
time
the most
to-
work. But I'm not saying like the simple future scenes, like where they leave her in the alley or where they have to go rescue her from the house or stuff like that. And they probably did the past scenes too, since it was all like junkyard, so it probably took a lot of time to mess up all those houses.
Right.
So another thing, if Biff was gonna go back in time and give his old self the sports almanac, like, what do you think was gonna happen? Like, so then he goes forward in time,
And he becomes the rich one.
but like, would he just morph into the rich one?
So like when Marty went back to the past from the future and it was all different, he remembered everything.
When Marty went back to
So when Marty was in 2015 and then went back to 1985 and everything was different, he still remembered everything even though the past was changed. So I'm assuming when Biff went forward in time, he still remembered everything. But it was all different.
But it seems like,
Because when
but he would have a new life, so would he remember that?
yeah.
Well, Marty still remembers. I don't know.
But if Biff was
Yeah, I
rich
guess-
all along, then how would he
I guess-
steal the DeLorean?
But if Marty goes back to 1985 and his dad died, but he doesn't remember it,
Right, like his memories aren't like in line with that alternate timeline, right? He still has like the original timeline.
right? So why wouldn't Biff?
So Bill would just have to like learn his life, kind of, when he gets back.
Like, but he probably doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, that's probably not that hard.
Stupid
So
guy.
does he like replaces the Biff in the alternate timeline?
Well, that's a good question because when Marty went back to 1985, Biff was like, "You're supposed to be in Switzerland," so we don't know if the Marty was there.
I-
Doc,
And Doc was committed, so
Yeah.
actually, I don't know.
I feel like it should they become that universe or that timeline's
Yeah.
Morty or
because the
don't think there's
newspapers
two of them?
more.
no, I don't think there's two. Because remember when they left? What's her name? Vanessa? Is that her name? Jessica. In '85, when they went back to 55 or whatever, he was saying like, when we fix it, she'll just turn back to the original. Like,
Yeah, but that's
Yeah, everything
because,
will morph around
That's
her.
because she's still there. Also, when Biff came back, it was the same future. Remember, he did come back and he had to drop
Yeah.
the DeLorean off. It was the same future.
Oh yeah, that's Huh.
Yeah.
Also, how was he
Oh.
smart enough to
So
know he had to
did I.
return to like when he stole the DeLorean? Like, I feel like he would have
Yeah.
gone back in the past
And
and
then
just
done,
remained his old self and gotten rich that way.
And also, why was he like stumbling out of the DeLorean? Like, he like seems hurt. Or was that in the third movie?
No, he was crippled the whole time.
Yeah,
He had the
he
cane,
had the cane, yeah.
so he was walking around with a limp.
But he didn't have the cane when he got out.
No, when he first got out of the, or when he dropped off the DeLorean and got out, he was like stumbling around, like he was like injured or something.
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe because when you travel to the past, it's very jarring.
Yeah.
Wait, so he left
Scoliosis.
he left the cane in the car, but they never talked about that, right?
No, they mentioned
That's
it.
how they
That's how they
know.
knew it was him.
I thought he went to the casino and then he saw, oh, it was Biff, and then he went to talk to Doc, and then Doc told him about the newspaper saying, oh yeah, he won millions in. And then he showed him the bag he bought the almanac in, but I don't remember him showing him the cane.
They should
They showed him the cane.
Okay,
They
showed
showed
the
the
cane,
cane.
okay.
But he showed him the empty bag, right?
Yeah, he definitely showed him the empty bag.
It's at the same time he showed him the cane.
Okay.
They're like, hello, the empty bag is here. Someone like took the little DeLorean and went to the past. And they're like, who is it? And he's like, I also found this cane.
Who could
They're
it be?
like, oh, that must mean it's Biff. White eyes.
Right. Some of the writing for this was not great.
Yeah.
But it was also the 80s.
Yeah.
Standards were like,
No, but like in the 80s, there's no excuse for being bad at writing.
Yeah, that is true.
True.
well, I don't
Star
know.
Wars 5 came out in the 80s.
There were some great American novels written, like before the
Those are
People knew English.
Those are
Yeah.
books, not movies.
Right, but
None of the good stuff.
Plus, maybe the lines were bad. Maybe it was the acting. It's part of the time.
So that last scene where they're at the dance or whatever, and like Marty was playing the guitar or whatever on stage. That was from the first movie.
From the first movie, he plays Johnny.
Was it anything? So it was all like perfectly in line of like how the first movie
Yes.
portrayed. There was no like deviation.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like Lion King 1.5.
great analogy.
I mean,
Okay,
you all knew what
I
I
immediately
meant.
understand. Okay.
Remember when Timon and Pumbaa were riding the wildebeests that stample, the trample?
Oh, that's sad.
Mufasa? Yeah.
I don't remember that. No.
Yeah.
Guys, how cool is the name Mufasa?
It's pretty cool.
Mufasa.
Doesn't it mean like
I don't
King,
know.
lion.
King Dad or something?
Lion King?
Maybe.
That's what Simba means.
You guys excited for the new Lion King movie?
I am.
Is there a new Lion King
Do you
movie?
think they're gonna what?
Is there a new Lion King movie?
Yeah. Well, it's a live action,
Live action.
quote unquote live action.
I don't know about that. Although live action Jungle Book was pretty good.
I never saw
I
that.
never saw the original Jungle
Good.
Book.
The animated one?
I never saw it.
Really?
I also never saw it.
Wow, I'm surprised you haven't.
I saw it, but I don't remember. I remember scenes.
Too bad it's not a second series.
Well,
No, there is Jungle Book 2.
There's
Oh, is there?
There's 4,
Yeah.
I think.
It's a
There's
lot.
4 Jungle Books, really? Wow.
The superior sequel Disney movie though is Aladdin 2.
I'm sure I've seen it. I don't remember
Mulan
it,
2.
Mulan 2
Why-
garbage.
I've seen
Mulan.
Mulan.
It's garbage, okay.
Mulan 1, though.
Well,
Best movie of all time.
Fantastic.
Wow.
Probably,
It's really good though.
probably the best old Disney movie.
Yeah.
No, it's Lion King.
Lion King has
I don't
like
know.
2 good songs and the story's garbage.
Mulan, I don't think Mulan's bad. Mulan's my third favorite Disney movie.
Behind what?
Lion King and Aladdin.
Aladdin beats Mulan.
I love Aladdin.
I didn't think Aladdin was like
Aladdin's
that
good.
good. It's good, but
like,
it's,
I don't like Aladdin.
it's no Mulan.
it's no Hercules or Mulan.
Oh, Hercules is good too. I like the music in Hercules. And Aladdin, actually.
Music in Hercules.
I like that one song.
The 2 songs.
I love the first song.
Oh, the one with the pot.
Yeah, the pot ladies. I like that one a lot.
I like the one where he's going to see his dad.
Zero to Hero. That's a good one.
Also, Mulan has
I
Eddie
can go to
Murphy in
the
it.
distance.
Oh, yeah. That's
Oh yeah, it's the dragon.
Yeah.
All
Wait, which
ties-
one?
All ties back together. Mulan.
Mulan, Reflection. That's the best song in that movie.
What? Not defeat the Huns?
I mean, be a man.
Whatever the fuck it's called.
That's the tune.
That's a good song though. You're
I
right.
don't know
That
what it's
was
called.
not the tune at all.
Okay, well, I'm sorry.
I recognized it.
That's not it at all.
Yeah, it credits.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, we got a
I'm sorry, I'm not-
Strike.
audiophile Jake over here.
How much are your headphones, Jake?
$130 or 200, whatever I said the first time.
Yeah.
Whatever the higher value is.
$10 million.
Alright, didn't you guys think it was funny how Marty would just ramble on to random people and they'd have no idea what he's talking about? Or he's like, Doc! It's from Doc, he's back in 1985. The guy's just like,
I have no idea what you're talking
fuck
about.
man.
Okay, if someone told you to deliver a paper in 70 years to a specific time and location, that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
So
What was
whatever
that?
this crazy fucking kid's rambling on about, like, there's
You best believe him.
Yeah, there's something going on there.
Also, what if Marty just got murdered? Like,
Yeah.
When he reached into his
I got something for you.
Kill him. Yeah, that'd be a crazy way to end that movie.
I know.
Probably would have been better than making a third movie.
But that one's okay.
They should have ended it right there, like
Yeah.
when he got the letter or something.
I like when they're trying to pull the DeLorean with the horses.
That's
Is that the third one?
Yeah.
Oh.
What? What do you mean is that the third one? That's the Western movie.
I don't know. It seems vague.
It was in the last 2 minutes of this movie. They showed him pulling the horse. Okay. Yes. So in the third movie, they go back
With
to
the future.
1885.
the 55
past.
Doc Brown, right?
Well, he sends him there, but he doesn't go with him.
How does he send him there without? Or does he have a DeLorean in that time period?
So the first one, he also sends him back, but he doesn't go with him. I don't think. Right?
Right.
In the
Yeah.
first one. So Doc Brown is the most abandon-filled mentor Marty has. So he just sends him back in time, but he doesn't go with him. And his suggestion to him every time is go back, talk to the me from the past, and he'll figure it out. He just shoves the responsibility onto past Doc Brown every time.
I mean,
He has no
it's a
responsibility.
fishy.
Right. Well, also
Multi-threaded.
Right.
But since he's in the present, he knows what happened in the past. You know, his past self could handle it.
I don't think does he recall. He doesn't recall helping past Marty, does he?
Would he?
No.
Well,
I
he
think it's a
did.
weird morphing thing. Like the timeline, there's not alternate timelines. There's only one that just morphs around.
Maybe that's why he stays. So like his mind will like get acclimated to the new timeline.
That would make sense. So anyway, he sends him back to 1885, and he's like, "Hey, go save your dude." And then there's Biff, but I think it's Cowboy Biff this time.
Wait, in the third one?
Yeah, in the third one.
He's still there.
Biff is the main villain in all the movies.
It's a generation of villains.
Yeah.
Is it a Biff from that time period? Like his
he's
grandfather or
he's
something?
Cowboy.
Is it the same actor?
I don't know. It also might
hope
not be
so.
Biff, but for telling the story, we'll just say it's Biff.
Okay.
So
I hope it's the same actor.
So Cowboy Biff is like the outlaw of the town. He calls everybody butthead. You know, he shoots at Marty's feet to make him dance, and then they have to have a little shootout at high noon. But if we know anything from Marty, it's that he's a good shot, because in the second one he was playing the little game. He's like,
He was using his hand or something.
right. And then we also remember Biff from the alternate timeline. He was watching that old movie with
Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood, and he had the little metal plate.
Oh right.
And so they have a little shootout, and he shoots the metal plate, and then he lifts it up, and he's like, "Oh, I have a metal plate," and then he kills Biff. I think he like walks up to him, and while he's on the ground, he shoots him a couple more times.
Marty does?
Yeah.
Wow.
Does he actually
That's
kill him?
cold-blooded.
No.
Oh man.
Oh, it's all a lie.
That's all.
Oh.
That's like Goodfellas stuff. That's not something that would happen.
I was like, wow, this really took a dark turn in the third one.
No.
Also, Biff is a really bad shot. He shot Marty like 5
Yeah.
times when he was trying to escape in the second 1985.
Well, he was old.
Well, I mean, you could
He
still.
wasn't that old.
He was like 53.
It's not that old.
I feel like I couldn't shoot a gun as well as I could if I was like now versus when I was 53.
I think you could.
You were 53?
Huh?
What?
When I am 53.
Okay.
That's a cool little trick he did to get away from the goons in the stairway.
Oh, and the wall ride.
When he pointed, and then you're talking about the other goons.
Yeah, when he
You're
like
talking about past goons, 1955.
yeah, the past ones. When he like jumped on the other side of the staircase and they
They're 1985 goons.
Also, how confusing is that
that's
staircase?
Yeah.
I was like,
it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make
Only go to odd floors
I
and
was
even
like-
floors?
How is it confusing?
I thought I was dumb. I was like, I just don't get it.
There's just two stairs that go do the same thing.
But there's like, it was weirdly.
So say you're on the second floor
yeah.
and you want to get to the fifth floor. You can't do it.
Why not?
Because they go up by doubles. Do you notice
No,
that?
I don't think they do. I think
They do. That's how you jump
I
across.
think they go up, but they are on opposite sides on every floor.
No.
I think there are two. Yeah, there are two sets of stairs that do the same thing, but just in opposite directions, and they meet on each floor, but on the
That's
other
such a
side.
waste.
Yeah,
I know
why
it
do
is.
that?
I'm not saying it's a good idea, but I'm saying that's what happens. I'm assuming the reason they do that is because Biff designed the building.
1955, they didn't figure out single staircases yet.
85. And this was the alternate timeline.
Wait. Oh, what? That wasn't in the 50s?
No, it was 85. That was the alternate timeline.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was in Biff's casino.
Yeah, he probably designed those. Yeah.
Right. And they maybe at that point they stopped caring about learning, and that's why they locked up Doc Brown.
True.
So they didn't have good architects.
Like one staircase? That's insane.
Well,
The efficiency.
yeah,
So wasteful.
I liked it. It was cool. It was a good way to get away from the enemies.
Right. And it's classic, oh no, what's that? And then he points at something and they look and then he like hits them. Classic.
Actually, how does that work? I don't know how that works. Yeah, it does. That's just really weird. Yeah, it's two spiral staircases, just like
weren't
offset by
spiral, though.
one, but they still land on all the
They were-
floors.
I don't think so.
Spiral.
I think it just like what
You think it went up by two? I don't think.
that's what it looked like.
What do you mean it went up by 2? Like,
So so he's going down the staircase and he jumps to the other platform, right?
Uh-huh.
And there's a whole new door there. But the staircase he was on first doesn't actually go to that level. It just keeps down a half level, or it goes down a full level and then another full level
But they met in between.
on opposite sides.
So maybe you're right.
There has to be a door on the wall that we can't see.
Or you can only get from the odd floors on the odd staircase and the even floors on the even staircase.
Right, which is what I want because that'd be so cool.
Well, how would you ever
so bad.
How would you ever get to the even stairs?
Well, I feel like on the lobby floor there'll be like a single stair.
Out to the second floor, and that's how you
Right,
change the
yeah.
even floor.
Yeah, so if you're on floor like 64 and want to go to level 63,
You feel all the way
It-
down. All the way back up.
or just pull a Marty McFly and jump across.
Right. But nobody's that clever.
No.
The goons went the wrong way.
Right. And it's also Biff's universe. So everyone that's smart is dead
True.
Right.
or living in the ghetto.
Or I don't know, they're working the casino for him or something.
Right, or forced to be a sex slave like Marty's mom.
Super
Was she a
weird.
sex slave?
Pretty
I
much.
feel like
She
it.
seemed pretty.
She just seemed like
she was like willing to
abused.
stay. I mean, she's obviously
was-
abused, but like she coerced her with money.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Yeah,
like he was
so-
forcing her to stay there.
because he didn't want to.
Except he was. He was totally forced
I mean,
to
it
stay
was
there.
like manipulated force. It wasn't like a slave force though.
What are you talking about? That's totally a slave thing.
I wouldn't say slave, but
I mean, she definitely
Indentured servant.
She was.
Is that better?
She was there through manipulation, but not through force. So
Not
it
the
wasn't
physical
really. It wasn't really her choice, but
It's
it's
still
like,
pretty messed up.
Yeah, it
though.
was. Of course, Biff's an awful guy. I think that was the point. Is they needed to make Biff as evil as possible. That's why he calls her a butthead. He abuses women. He cheats on horse races, even though Marty was totally willing to do that himself.
Right, but he's a young kid. Like he doesn't know. any
Yeah,
better.
yeah.
Yeah, but even when he's an adult, he's still pretty immature.
how old is he?
Remember
supposed to
when?
be?
Remember that one guy was like, "Hey, we're gonna do illegal stuff." He's supposed to be 15. He's like, "Hey, we're gonna do illegal
What?
stuff,"
15.
and then he was like, "No, I don't want to." And he's like, "What are you, chicken?" And then he just does the illegal stuff with him.
Oh,
Well, but that's his integrity. He's choosing between his integrity and the law. What's more sacred to him?
Right, but I think that integrity or just being a child.
Oh, he's not like just him being a dumbass.
Yeah.
But
Marty's not the brightest tool in the shed.
he was also wearing 2 ties at once.
This is
Right.
crazy.
Which is pretty dumb.
That was the
That
old
been
one,
the
right?
style of 2015.
Right.
Well, and as we know, it was. We all had 2 ties in 2015.
And clear ties.
Clear ties.
Yeah.
And clear ties too.
That clear tie was pretty sick though.
And those cool jackets
That's
that are
what I
way too
like
big,
too.
but they like
They shrink up to
zoom in.
you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sick.
what if you wore that to an interview, like a clear tie? Like,
I think I get hired.
I
Yeah.
think they would think you're an idiot. Being completely honest.
His shoes are really fire though. I got
Nikes.
I'll wear
yeah.
those.
I wonder if they sell. I bet they sell.
I'm
those,
sure.
like,
I feel like I've seen those
novelty.
before.
Well, they probably don't like.
What are they called?
Shrink to your
Yeah.
I thought there's a name
yeah.
for them. Like they're like the Back to the Future Nikes or something.
Maybe they probably
I'm-
like the special.
There's a name for them. I think I can't think of what it is though.
Yeah, I'm sure Nike made those and was like, or was at least featured in the movie, and they're like, hey, we can make a ton of money off of these.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they did with the hat.
I don't know what it's called.
Oh, okay.
Is that hat?
They sold
a
a
thing?
lot of those fucking hats.
Really?
Yeah.
In the new Spider-Man movie, he's wearing Nike basketball shoes.
You think it's the one from Back to the Future?
It's different. They're different colors for sure.
But it could be the same style.
Right. It could be. It's definitely the same style, but
Also, I think that
Nike hat.
that Miles Morales future is a little farther in the future.
Then,
Right.
7 years.
So you think it's not 2015?
Well, it's 2018 now, so
Right.
it's probably like 2025. So you think in 2025 we'll get those shoes?
Well, no, because Miles' shoes were always untied. That's how he tripped.
Hmm.
Oh, and Marty's were Velcro.
Yeah.
They weren't. No, they were
They were
self-cinching.
Velcro. Yeah, they were like.
They were pretty sick.
But they had those like long, thick bands that Velcro have.
Right. Definitely the same like fundamental style.
Yeah, of Velcro. Yeah, dude, I'd get those shoes. Or are we supposed to be burning Nike apparel right now? I don't remember.
No, they're still good.
It depends who you are.
Yeah.
Is there ever a time where I'm gonna have to burn Nike apparel?
If you don't like Kaepernick,
Okay.
So what almanac do you think Trump stole?
Well, his dad gave it to him, right?
Oh,
it was a
true.
loan. He loaned him the
A
almanac.
small loan of a
Yeah.
sports almanac.
Although there are quite a few parallels between
Yeah.
Biff and Donald Trump.
It's uncanny.
Well, I think.
Well, it's mostly appearance.
Biff Tower.
I don't know. Yeah, it's true. He was
yeah,
like,
I
no.
guess you're right. Yeah.
I don't know if Trump is the first of his kind. So that might have been a political statement on some other
Person at the time.
rich guy.
Yeah, I feel like Donald Trump isn't like, unique. I feel like there's been a lot of people just like Trump that,
All right.
probably other presidents.
Don't say that in public though, or else he'll tweet at you and.
Right. And I'll be internet shamed.
Collusion?
Collusion.
Not quite sure, just gonna throw that out there.
Question mark.
There's a weak person I have never met.
What?
Collusion?
What? There's
He always calls people weak.
Oh, he does? Like
Yeah.
Joe Biden?
Yeah, like Cohen. Like he's a weak man.
Yeah. Remember?
I didn't break any laws. It was all him.
Do you guys remember when he said that he could beat up Joe Biden?
Yeah.
You said that?
He said he could beat up Joe Biden. Oh man, it was older than him. Oh, I got.
Man, this would be a good board game. Like, you read a tweet and like
Did
tell
Trump say
it.
it?
Yeah. Did Trump say this?
Right.
I think Biden said he would fight him back and he would win.
Oh, he did.
I think Biden said,
Biden would-
like, I love to like fight him behind the school bleachers or something like that.
Like a Trivial Pursuit Trump tweet version.
Oh, that'd be good for like. Is this a Trump tweet or is it like? I don't know, some
fan
serial
account.
killer said or something.
Oh.
It'd be a game show. It'd be like Deal or No Deal.
Right, but is it true
Trump or not?
Okay, here we go. Crazy Joe Biden is trying to act like a tough guy. Actually, he is weak, both mentally and physically.
Got him.
And yet he threatens me for the second time with physical assault. He doesn't know me, but he would go down fast and hard, crying all the way. Don't threaten people, Joe.
Don't threaten people. So I'm gonna threaten you.
Yeah. You would go down hard and fast, but don't threaten me.
So if Donald Trump was a firefighter, you think he would, not use water, but use fires to fight other fires?
Fires.
Probably. I would feel sorry for the town that had Donald Trump as a firefighter.
No, there'd be no fires. He would rake all the leaves out, so it'd be no problem.
Well, he would tell everybody there was no fire. I mean,
as it surrounds our house. Like, okay.
It's like, well, I mean, maybe there is, maybe there isn't. We can't really prove it. And honestly, if there is one, it's the Democrats.
Also, this podcast, got really political really fast.
I mean, when you're playing breaking news in the background,
When you have CNN on.
yeah, subliminal messaging.
Yeah.
And we can't talk about politics at work.
Top down. Anyway, all right. Final thoughts on Back to the Future Part 2. Do you want to watch 3?
No, I definitely don't want to watch 3, but I feel like Back to the Future 2 is a classic, and even if it does have some weak points, not the most thought out stairs, that, it's still worth seeing.
Yeah, it's not the worst 80s film.
Oh yeah, not at all.
No.
I don't know what is, but it's definitely not the worst.
It wasn't that bad. It wasn't bad. I would
The
say.
writing and acting were a little weak, but I think it was just a signature of the time.
I chalk that up to the 80s myself, but I wouldn't watch I would watch the first one. I would go back and watch
The first one's solid.
just to see. 'Cause I know it's a classic also,
Yeah.
and I could get some like.
When he sings Johnny
More
B.
details.
Good, it's
It's a
really
great
good.
scene.
It's really good.
I already see it in there.
Yeah,
saw
but,
half of it.
but you get
I saw the half-
You get
the half
more
of it.
epic shots of it, like down low while he's like dancing on the stage,
Oh,
and
okay.
his
Doing that
parents,
little-
her
doing that little
parents are
kick.
like dancing.
Okay.
There's a lot less Marty trying to get with his mom in this movie.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be weird.
Yeah.
I made you realize how much Rick and Morty is based off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when Doc just like goes off and then Marty's like, yeah, okay, that's all.
Even the name like Marty, you gotta do this, Marty.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I see where they get it from.
Yeah. Final thoughts?
The wall ride was so sick.
Which one? The
The
5
one-
that they did?
Oh,
Or
well,
the last
no,
one.
the last one where he goes like upside down.
Yeah.
does
In the
a flip.
tunnel.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
recent.
And then Biff gets in the manure again.
Yeah, classic.
Classic.
Just after he got his car back
Right.
from being
Yeah.
fixed, from being running the manure truck again.
The day before.
Right.
Anyway, great movie. Changed the timeline.
Did it change it didn't change the timeline.
No, the movie changed the timeline. Changed this timeline.
Oh, like the world that we live in. Yeah.
So, good movie. Not the best, but it's a good movie.
Solid.
All right, thanks for watching,
Should we rate the
everybody.
movie out of
Oh, yeah.
10?
Okay, I give it 4 DeLoreans out of 5.
Oh wow, it's long.
I
It
give
doesn't have
it.
to be out of DeLoreans, by the way.
I give it
It could be out of Doc Brown's.
4 Pepsis out of 10.
That's not a lot of Pepsis.
I give it 5 hoverboards out of 7.
So low.
Out of 7.
5. Sure. 5 out of 7.
I said you said
5 out of
so
7.
low.
Wait. Oh, I thought you said 5 out of 10.
No, out of 7.
Oh,
5 out of
that's
7.
pretty good.
5 out of 7. What?
That's
Hoverboards?
perfect.
Hoverboards, yeah. I want to say.
I will say 3 out of 4 manure trucks.
Pretty good. All right, thanks for watching, everybody.
What's for next time?
Oh, and next time we will be watching Star Wars: Attack of the Clones.
Yes.
And maybe reading fan mail.
No, we'll definitely be reading fan mail because
Okay.
it'll start flooding in after this.
Yeah.
Where can the viewers send their fan mail?
The fan mail.
That's what we're calling it. That's what we're calling it.
Dude, I can't wait to eat delicious flan.
Yeah, how are they gonna keep it fresh though? That's my real
Well, they're
concern.
gonna put it in the cooler. And
Right.
Ship it to us.
It's just like an envelope.
Please use insulated bags and expedited shipping.
Yeah, just send the flan mail to
Flan at.
to our work at walkingaroundthelake.com. That's a bad one. Send the flan mail.
Do we have like a Gmail? Like back to the sequel?
Send the flan mail to back to the sequel at gmail.com. All right, thank you for watching for the final time.